Hello. Um, I'm just gonna be making some pixel art, more UI stuff than like character art. But yeah, I'll just wait until people roll into the stream and I'll just work on my stuff. Right now, let's check it out. What am I doing? Oh yeah. Oh, I need to unfreeze the game window, but I'm updating these health bars in the like character select for the Switch menu and the health bars on the just like party selection menu. Um, which is just a simple thing. I had like a progress bar in Godot, but I'm changing it to a textured progress bar, so it's not just a solid color. Uh, Let me reload the game here. All right. Where is it? Okay, now we got a live view of the game. Yeah, so I changed it for a textured progress bar. I think I had gray behind the progress bar when it was just a solid color. So I'm gonna have to do like an under texture for that and maybe like a frame to make it look better. But I need two different sizes. The one in here is slightly bigger than the one here. And all these like hellos are just like placeholder default because I turned off the thing that blocks it because I want it to look like disabled when it's done. Let me just open the smaller health progress bar too. Yeah. Yeah, so I have which one's bigger? Anyway. This one's the large one. Let's make one for mana. Just kind of plugging that in there. I'll add like more texture, like maybe a little pattern to sort of transition it, like, you know, something like that. But I'll work on that later. Right now, I just want it like saved off and plugged into Godot. And same with the other one. Let me reload my color palette. All right. Let's just check that out. Okay. Then I'll just plug that into here. The MP progress bar, I need to change the type to texture progress bar. Just get a text. All right. textures, the progress bar. MP, the large one. And then what do we have here? We were going down to the... No, not on this one. Switch party member window. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then we have one here. And we'll switch that type. And put in the progress texture. This one, the value is 1. I don't think it hurts anything to just put the value as 1 by default to just test it out, because I think it immediately should update. But if I have to change it to 0, I will. All right, that won't update right away. I think even because it's active, if I hide it, it won't. But if I run from battle and I go into a new one, it should be. Yeah, the MP bars are there and they're full. I do want to have something behind it. Probably the like darker brown color that's here. And then on the switch menu, yeah, same deal. Okay. These should all be, I believe, all these placeholders would be like blank spots. I think I just need to put the block that covers it back up and just make like a texture. Oh, hi Sandscum. Just making some UI sprites, updating my texture bars for health and mana progress. They were just a solid color. I'm just, right now, not like super making it fancy, but just putting in the replacement for it with the textured progress bar, and I think I'll make up a background for that, and then I want to make a frame, but I want it to not cover up the text. So this like hello text I think is like about as big as you can get it. And then let's see. Well, like HP and MP down here, I can maybe fit like a pixel wide frame. And maybe it sits a bit high. I don't know. Problem is the font I'm using has like these weird 5s that hang down too far. Well, like several numbers, like 7 for some reason is like lower. I liked the sort of pixel. I really like the font actually, just for the vibe, but I don't know why certain numbers hang below, and it's kind of a pain for designing UI around it. But I think I can get by. Probably like a pixel wide frame around it. Maybe give it some shape on like the end caps. Something like that. And then yeah, so I guess I could what did I say would be this color? Save that as a progress bar background. Small. And then this would be the large one. So far, I like designing the graphics for UI like I'm doing now, but coding UI was very hard. And I think it's because there's like a lot of probably like standardized like out of the box solutions that have been like solved problems, but I don't really use libraries or anything, so I'm trying to figure out like um making sub menus and then being like, oh wait, you put in a sub menu and then you can still like control the menu that was like before it. I got to turn everything off and like do it properly, and it's like, I guess you could probably have like a designed like tree structure with like the menu and sub menus and sub menu, and then they have like a class that acts a certain way. But I'm finding a lot of the way I want to implement things, like a menu might not just be a sub menu, but have like custom behavior that I want to code in, and then you got to go in and figure out like which parts do I want to like. Just because I'm selecting a sub menu, do I want to deanimate the menu that came before it, or do I want to like still show it? Like everything, it seems like it's all custom behavior, and I'm just trying to make everything work. So coding it is a bit. My UI is bugged to hell, but that's why I'm focusing on it right now, because I'm like, I want to get that out of the way and make it like work, and then I can focus on building out more like enemy types and content, because that's the real fun part. But doing the graphics for UI is pretty fun. Where was I? Okay. Right, so these need a background. The under texture. I think these are the small one. Oh, I guess these ones don't need to be brown though. I'll deal with that later. I got an image for it, but let me see. These ones I want the background to be brown, because it's going to be like the same sort of stone divot texture as the bar that it's on. And then I'll add some like stony texture to it. Like I can edit the image in Sprite, but just to make sure that it's here. So sort of like that. And then for the actual like switch menu, I want to take this like pale green background and make a design for that. Sort of like a panel that comes up. Probably like shape it so it's not like perfectly square. I don't think I want to go any like higher than this, so this might just be like a border. I could lower the boxes a bit, and then maybe like shave off and shape this corner and make it sort of like a maybe like ornate stone type of corner. Also need to like customize these boxes more. It's like flat white color could probably be some type of like stone box or something like that. And then I guess the color of the background will depend on that. Let's see. If I made like a frame around these bars and maybe included like an end cap for them, I don't have a lot of extra room, because this extra room here is for all of the possible status effects, and one thing is that you can just have all status effects at once. That is possible. There's not a ton of room for end caps here. Like there's not a lot of space between these two, and I'm gonna have to make sure like enemy names are no longer than this. But that's about, I think as far as I can really stretch it out. I'll take like 2 pixel frame and then just see how that looks. This will just be a placeholder. Even 3 pixels would be fine. It's not as big as I thought. Let's see. I gotta go check on something. Be right back. All right, I'm back. That's strange. I had the border around that text bar and now it's... Why is that not loading anymore? This is very strange. Because I've got it right here. Okay. Okay, now I can see it. Not really sure why it disappears. But I'll put it over this one. Should be the same deal. Like a little bit of a reddish brown border here, and then I don't know. I mean, the text can like overlay it. It's kind of hanging off on this one though. I don't know if I like that. Can I sort? I don't think I can just like Z order. How do I get the Z value, the individually of them? Like put the text behind this over one, but over the progress bar. I guess I would just have to like skip the over texture and then like make it a new element on its own probably. But anyway, maybe I'll just, for now, just do like the background texture. I think, yeah, I picked the right shade for the background. But we can add some texture to it. So if I look at how I did, got so many tabs open on Aspray, but yeah, I guess if I want it to be sort of shadowed at the top, that might be a little bit much. But basically give it almost like a bit of a 3-dimension than in game. Well, we won't see in game, I guess, until I reload the whole thing, but oh, you know what? I'm editing the wrong one. I'm editing the small one. That's why. I need to edit the big one. Yeah, so we can kind of see that gives it a bit of like pop if you just add a shadow at the top, but then I can adjust it for like maybe 2 more pixels. And then usually light comes from the top left, just in most of the sprites I'm making. Like it doesn't have to, but just for consistency, it gives it a bit of volume. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, it's a little better. I mean, is it too thick? Probably too thick on the left. Maybe by just a hair. And then kind of scratch it up. Well, I guess, okay. So what I tend to do, maybe like thick shadows, like there's an overhang that gives it a bit of volume, but like maybe a really thin one on the bottom to make it look like sort of the lip of that texture on the bottom is slightly overhanging. And actually that's a bit too thin for the border that I added. But even by just like a pixel. Yeah, that's not so great. Yeah, no, I think it's fine to just have like light shining on it, actually. Yeah. But that'll look a lot better when we like scratch it up, so. Is my stream still up? It almost looked like OBS crashed, but it's still up. me just check. Okay, yeah, I'm still live. Perfect. Let me just plug in my drawing tablet here. All right. This makes it easier. So I might not need the drawing tablet for straight lines, you know. I thought having a pencil kind of makes it easier to just make like scratchy or like place it randomly, but it's a bit of a pain to actually draw it straight. And it can just be like a really simple, like, you know, nothing fancy. But I like to add a little bit of like unevenness. Something like that. So then if I save that, yeah, we want to know how it looks. So yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I think maybe a little more like right here where we actually often see it empty is probably more important. So we can switch back over and add a bit more texture there. All right, let's see. And then maybe just somehow get it to be like a little less flat. Like sometimes I'll do the opposite of the shade and just like cut in a bit. So I'm like more focused on like horizontal cuts here, but could do like short vertical cuts to give some real unevenness to it. And then maybe do a couple down here. Not going to be seeing this side as much. But it just helps make it like imperfect. That's a little bit. I don't really like this part, actually. That end is a bit ragged, but it's all right. So we go back to the game. Here, let's see. How does it actually look? Yeah, it's like small, like you don't see it like super clearly, but it's not bad. Like just makes it a little less flat, you know. My question is why the border is just not showing up on the Is it showing up? Not showing up because the MP bar is full or something? It's like it's not updating. That's very strange. Let's see what we got in the Godot window. Oh, yeah, no, okay, I see. The step size should be 0.01, which I didn't change when I changed the type. Well, that's why it should update, but then why when it's at 100% am I not seeing the border? It's a bit weird. We just close out of the game, I'll reload it. And yeah. Okay. That should have fixed it updating to the correct value. Oh, well, yeah, now I see the border at 100%. Oh. So yeah, I can make the actual progress bars a little fancier. I can make the border a little fancier. I'm kind of liking how that looks. I might want to put some background to the slots where the status effects and buffs are that they can fit in onto these bars. That might be a good idea. You know, I think instead of end caps, I could just have the border like extend into the bar to give it some shape. That could work too. I don't think it would get in the way of much. This is about as far as the text would go. Well, maybe depending on scaling and leveling when I balance stuff, like maybe 4-digit values for like HP, but I mean, I can kind of draw whatever I want on this cap end, and then if I needed to on the left, I could push it a bit. But I do want you to see like when it's pretty close to empty. Like you should see that. I could have like a little transparent divot here where like if it's completely full, then maybe there's like a little dot that's filled with green and yellow. And then that would be like a little almost indicator that it's completely full versus like 99% or whatever. That'd be good. Yeah. Okay. What else was I gonna do? Yeah, I could do that now. Like sort of like this. So if that little notch is filled, then you know you're good, like pretty much 100% full. And then just add shape around here. I kind of like that idea. Maybe expand that a bit. All right. How's the shape of that look? The starting point. Let's go into the game and reload here. It's not bad. It's a little flat on the end. There's enough room I could expand. Now the only problem is, I guess, that gets into the where the poison indicator is. I could round it and like round the progress bar texture too. I actually can do that, yeah. Let's see. I just have to make sure that they're the same shape. And I gotta do it for both of them. I have to open the MP progress bar and the health progress bar large. And let's move that over there. So what do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4 pixels on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the side. And then, yeah, just that one extra pixel of rounding. I guess it did not reload yet. Maybe I didn't save the end cap, I guess. Oh, I gotta shave off the background too. That's all right. Okay. Yeah, it's not looking bad. Because look, if I cast a spell here, and then you don't see that little yellow dot, and the yellow dot indicates like full, like maybe not 100. It might show at 99, 95, whatever. But almost like a little indicator that it's like you're good. You see a little light turn on, then you're good. The shape might be a little basic. I think the frame could be a little slightly wider border, but like with shading to make it not look so stark, and then like maybe a thicker end cap on the left. So we could try that. And right now we're just doing like shape of it, but let's try at least twice as thick right here. Even that, like another pixel. And maybe just a bit of character to it. What else did I say I wanted to do? Let's check what. Maybe I could have like a little notch when it's at 50%, because I can do that just in my editor. Right, so if I'll bring this right up here. If I have this at a value of 0.5, then I can put the little notch on the pixel that's like right to the right of it. But I might have to like guess where it is and then check back. Right, so like that's too far. But I can just kind of tweak it until I find it. That's kind of perfect. Actually, yeah, maybe like one more pixel to the left. Yeah, that's like right on. and then we could do 25. Might as well. Yeah, nah, that might be overdoing it. I think I'll just do like 50% and then like make that little peg flared a bit. So like maybe a tiny bit taller. And then one on the opposite side. Just playing around a bit. Is this anything? I don't really want to overcomplicate it, actually. Let's just extend this a bit. That's pretty good. Just have to check on something for a second. All right. Yeah, I'm back. I think maybe having these extra holes is okay if it's like aligned with this one, but I don't want to make them like too attention grabbing. Something like that. Okay, and then yeah, I think I do want to like this end over here is just too flat. So I'll probably want to like shape that a bit. But then I got to do the same for the background and the health bar. Hmm. Just like that, actually, is fine. Like 2 pixels off the end of it. And we want the background, the large background. Okay. So that's how it would look. And then now that we have the shape of it, we can like shade that border. I definitely want the label to be a little bit lower. Oh, that's X. Although it's hard to see how that's gonna look with those like overhanging numbers. But I'm kind of previewing it, and it doesn't look that bad. All right, let's show the game. Once again, got to run from battle and just go in. I think maybe those tiny little pixels I put here are just too small to even perceive, but other than that, this looks pretty good. I like it. I think the kind of shade of brown that I'm using though, like doesn't really work with the dark brown here, but it would when I have like those redder highlights. So I'll have some lighting on it. And check out how that looks. Okay. Let's see. Especially like on the end here where you see it. It might be that I should maybe just take a lighter base shade in general. We'll just like highlight the upper edges. And then stuff like this. Right? Let's see. Do that. Okay. It just gives it a little bit of like a three-dimensional pop. I don't know if I want to go with like a darker shade. Might be overcomplicated if I do 3. Like this right here is starting to look better. I think I do need a 3rd shade though. But that contrast between the background and the red is nicer. I think we just need to put a little bit of darkness on some parts of it. Okay, right there, and there, and not that much that. Maybe a little bit right there. Might as well make it substantial. Maybe this could be a bit thicker. Maybe just extend that even and just have more of a mid-tone on the bottom here. Where I want to put the shadow there and then just have the mid-tone come out like that. And over here, yeah, like sort of underneath this. This can come out farther. I like that. Yeah, like look at that. That's not bad. Let me see how it looks in game. Again, I have to reload because these changes in the editor don't show up right away. Oh, they don't seem to have shown up at all there. have to save the scene. Not sure why they're not showing up. Let me see. Maybe they are. Actually, I do see it. It's just on a really small screen. Yeah, no, maybe it doesn't pop as much as I wanted it to, but still looks better than it did before. I can workshop that. Now let's make the actual progress bars a little nicer. So I just made like bands, but just add a little bit. Nothing crazy. Of like dithering, basically. We'll start the pattern here too, because I want it to be the same. But it might be a bit of tedium to finish it off. I feel like if I go farther down with this one, it might be too much. So I might want to do like that. Do a different pattern here. I'll do 3, 3, and then I'll skip 3. No, that doesn't look very good. What about this? That's okay. That's all right. Yeah. So I'll just copy and paste that. No, I don't. I don't really like the pattern down here. Um, let's forget that for now. And then we'll just get the highlight pattern for the green one. I feel like I must have made a mistake because that pattern doesn't end the same way that this one does. They include an extra pixel somewhere. Oh, on this one I did. All right. Now 4 pixels this way. I don't really like that. Do like bigger squares. Hmm. Maybe let's do the bottom pattern first. I think I want this one to cut into here. That'll be all right. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And I guess that's probably the end of that. I don't know. That's all right. It's a bit simple, but I think it looks pretty good. Let's do the same for the green. Gotta get the color in there. Almost done. No, at this point I can just copy and paste. Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's see how that looks in the editor. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. Okay. Let's put it all together. Why am I... the hell? Okay. Keeps reloading the fight. I've just got into like multiple battles at once. I think is what happened. That has never happened before. That's so strange. That's happening again. Okay. That's definitely a bug I need to fix. Okay. Let's reload the whole game. That can't have anything to do with changing the UI. Oh, somebody followed me. Hi. Pretty good. Oh. I will respond in chat because they requested it. All right. The quick thing I can do is probably work on this pale background here. just responding to somebody in chat who does not have headphones, but they're asking if I stream daily. No, I only stream on weekdays, but which day is a bit inconsistent. I do it when I can, but usually 8 to 12 EST. And they wanna ask something? Sure. What do I want to do here? Let's switch to this and then go to battle scene. $171 by 82 is what I have that on right now. Because I'm going to make a graphic to replace it. Okay. Just this person's looking to possibly share some of their artwork and maybe commission some for the channel, although I'm going to let them know that as much as I appreciate that and they can drop it in the Discord, I am broke as hell. Okay. Yeah, I'll work on this one. Because I did have just a rectangle of this color, but now I can put a texture on it. Now what color do I want it? It doesn't have to be white. Hmm. I don't think I can do like a different color for each. Just the range of colors I'm working with up here. Like a different color palette for each submenu just looks like too much. And then I have like blue highlights on sort of the little tabs here on the left, and then these buttons have that blue, and then you've got the brown, and then I have the red here, and then in the skills menu. But I'm wondering if each of these submenus could be red. Probably just the styling of them can give them their each sort of unique flavor. But like having too many different like disparate colors would be, I think, too much. So maybe I'll go with red also. Okay. Um, Trying to like figure out having different colors and contrast, but not like going overboard rainbow. But this MP here, this is not the color of MP. I have yellow on this side, so I should probably do yellow here and make a graphic for it. But yeah, the background of each of these being red, like the items menu even being red. I think it's a nice complementary color to the brown of the main one. Like it draws more attention. The brown is kind of out of the way if you don't look at it as much, and then I do have those like the oranges brown already, but for this wheel into like the yellow or into the red, and the red draws more attention, whereas this the blue also draws attention. Um, like the blue is like a, I don't know, like a pale like stony greenish um coppery type of blue, which I like, but I don't necessarily, except for these like little buttons I have. Uh, these buttons, I don't want to go for like a lot of gray in the stone and the UI, because just having a gray UI wouldn't look so great. But I think just continuing with the red for sub menus is fine, because all I have is skills, item, and switch menus. I'll use red as a base. I think I have like placeholder red, but I didn't design it yet. And then for the switch menu also as a base, and then like they look totally different. You see the green and yellow in there. Oh, let me just. Okay, right. So if that background is red, then the buttons themselves. Hmm. I think we could go for like the orange palette that's on the wheel because it's cycling through party members, and then if the orange is party members, it could be the color of party members for the sake of this UI and be some internal consistency. Um, yeah, let's do that. Let's try it out anyway. Let's grab that over there. Mm-hmm. See, that doesn't contrast very much. So maybe I just need to adjust the base colors. Um, all right, let's try. I guess base colors. Um, that I think is fine. Need to change the text color. Probably make that look more like an orange stone button. And then sort of like carve out the red into its own sort of menu. Then we'd have to texture the little health and mana bars. How much can I fit in a text box here, actually? I don't think I've tried putting... I need to relaunch. I need to put the lumberjack in there and see how big, like... What's my max text, like, name length? Could be rough. Yeah, I'm worried this could be a problem. The box is that crammed. Oh, that's not bad, actually. So like 10 characters, if I can keep everything like that, it's not bad. Did I already plan for that? That's interesting anyway. I do notice with the 35 health and 35 mana that the top one is not being shown. Which I think I can fix if I just like... I know I'm going to have overhang in this font. So just having the Z ordering be a bit... I think I need to increase the height of the box. It doesn't really look that great without spacing. So let's do that. Okay. I'll increase the canvas size on Sprite of that orange box. So the height is 82. Let's go 96. Just like bring these down. It's just cramped. There's a lot of UI. So try to get it all fit together. It's a bit tough. So I added 8 to that. And the MP label. Maybe I'll just add 4 to this. And 4 to the HP label. The name could probably stand to be like a pixel down. And that's probably enough. I can even like trim that box back by a couple of pixels. I don't actually need I needed the extra space, but now I think I'm good now. So I'll just maybe take 3 pixels off it. Okay. So then the question is, in the switch menu, the backup party box, what's my separation? Is it a grid? No, it's not. Wait, is it not? I thought it was a grid. What type of node is this? Yeah, no, it's a grid container. Columns 4. Oh, V separation. Okay, perfect. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. And how does it look in game? Not quite updated yet. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Uh that is good. Because no, I'll add yeah, even like that much more. And then I could even no wait, why do the bars not look separated? Hmm. They should be. They are on here. I have the separation. They look good here, and then in the game, they're crammed still. I might just have to reload. That might be something. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, that looks better. Perfect. Okay. Let's get over to a spray. rough. I think I can smooth it out just by having one full line across, and then maybe I don't want that little nub. This turned out to be kind of pointless. I don't know. I wanted it to be a somewhat shaped, but I'm not really wild about the shape that I've got. Like, just looks a bit strange. I mean, I maybe would want to like round it around here, but that's where the text starts, so it doesn't really work. The bottom might work better if I don't round that top corner. Or maybe just slightly. I think maybe instead of like having it concave in the middle, the exact reverse. Having it sort of like that. Just to give the tablet a sort of center. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe just a little more. Just get the center line, because I might do something here. Hmm. That's not much. That's just a wave. Like, I don't know. Just I want to add like a bit of chunkiness, but I don't want to be like round. Really. I don't know. This just feels like, here, I'll show how it looks in the menu now, but it's just starting to look like haphazard. It's not terrible. I don't know. Maybe if those notches were a bit wider. No, there should be more of them. Perhaps. I'm trying to give texture and shape, but sometimes it just turns out to be doing stuff. Maybe if I just bring down the corners here. Is this even centered? This looks like 4 pixels. That's 3. Might be an odd number of pixels wide. Shit. But honestly, I think that's mostly fine. This is a little better. That's a little bit better. Not terrible. Okay, so we'll have a 4 pixel wide border. And then we'll just like curve it at the top. Could maybe get away with doing 3 pixels on the top. If that helps accommodate the text. And then the inner corner doesn't really have to be rounded like that. I could just have it go down the side. Actually, even then, the way it looks in the editor is a little too big. So I think I'm going to thin that up. We're going to have to adjust this because it's not centered, which wasn't clear until I put some texture on it. There. Okay. Let's see. I think we could probably do like a flat edge here. Type of thing. I'm just going to pop out for 1 minute. Right in the back. Okay. So the way this menu looks is you have all these little tablets, and then I can start working on the red part. Everything to the left of the actual boxes is something I can shave off. So it's kind of hidden here unless I move it out of the way in my editor, but I'm not going to texture the tablets yet, but I'm going to shape everything. So let's just like chop a slice out of it and just see how big we can actually get, and then I can add to it. Might be nice to have like another stone carving type of thing, like how the wheel has. Okay, I'm looking at my editor. That was too big. Too much. Okay, like to get into a new battle, we can see it's the height of it that I'm not sure about. The width I could see. So I can even shave off more width. Maybe it depends on the final position, the initial position of those parts were not quite aligned. Can't really tell when you like pop it out. But it might be moving to the side a bit, and I didn't even realize. But I'll go based on this final position. I think I can shave off quite a bit more. That's pretty close. It's probably good on the height, and then maybe like a pixel or two off the side of it. And some of that can get added back, but Yeah, it's good. Hmm. Hmm. All right, let's just workshopping some general shapes. Okay, this might look all right. Okay, this is the problem. I'm running into that bug again where I get multiple. Yeah, I like this. I mean, it looks like a stone tablet, and then like I just put this as like a little tower type of thing here. Just I don't know, give it a bit of a brick type of shape feel, but like if I can come up with like some type of information that would be relevant to a display here, like based on whoever you have selected, it might be nice to actually like nestle it right here. Like once it's popped up, and then imagine like I don't know if there's some sort of indicator that would be relevant, but if there is, I could place it there, and then as you flick it through this might change. I'm trying to think of something that's not shown on their box, but I mean, it could just be decorative, but it'd be a nice thing to set aside as like a potential thing I can use functionally too. Um, I want to get here. I'll just hide chat for a bit. I want this battle clock right here because when messages show up that display information, they end up showing up at the top. It covers this. I can move that to the side. This is a little too tall right here to be able to like push up past the wheel, but I could shorten it, whatever. But what I actually would love to do is have this blank space be filled up with like a dial that's more of a round clock. The only problem is that like so this value of 0 uh it goes from like -8 to +8. So those 17 positions is like maybe a little too crammed for a round clock, considering like it'd have to be divided up into more pieces than a regular 12-hour clock. But um I mean, it could be 8 and then it just looks different if it's the enemy's turn versus your turn in some way, but I gotta think about it. I would like to have, I mean, it would be more evocative of the actual mechanic if it looked like a clock, and it would just look cool. I'd have something spinning right here. Um, I was thinking about having, when you're hovering over a skill and it costs a certain amount of time, that it sort of shows you where the clock would end up. So maybe this arrow like hovers over the final position if you select that move, but you can do that with a clock where like you're hovering over move and the clock's just like spinning and it shows you where you would end up and then you do it and it stays there. Maybe. All right. I have no idea why my game is launching multiple battles at once. It's like loading that scene many times. I can't think of a reason for that. Something's wrong, and it's coming out when I'm running the game for long enough to just keep it on for a stream, which like I've been testing by when I make a change, like relaunch it, whatever. Clearly, there's a problem with it being on too long and accumulating some sort of initiation of a scene that it shouldn't be. I have to check that out. Actually, I should check out the remote. It's weird. Okay, let me show you what I'm seeing here actually. Okay, not only that, but it's also applying every status effect to the enemies. That's very weird. But what I'm seeing here is, let me move chat. I have node 3D at 3, which I think, and in the internals of it are the battle scenes. So I got the battle UI and all that. I think it instantiated and it didn't have access to the name like battle scene, which sometimes when you do that in Godot, it just ends up having a generic name. I've seen that before, but I only have one, so it's like the other ones are closing out. And yet I don't know why if it instantiated multiple battle scenes, I would have like default values in my health, and why the enemies would all have all of their status effects activated. That's really weird. It's a big problem. Interesting. Okay. All right. So I didn't notice this before. The last battle's sticking around. Am I leaving the battle wrong? I'm loading this scene. Okay. Let me look at the code for battle scene. Leave battle. Okay. Well, that does some checks, and then it gives you the option to possibly recruit an enemy and then return to overworld. How am I loading it? So I'm reloading the scene. Okay, I need to know two things. I need to know how I enter the battle and how I leave it. Roll for encounter. player camera is basically the player controller. So I'm loading the battle scene.instantiate. I'm changing some of its properties. I'm adding the child to the root of the tree, and then I'm freeing the parent of the camera, but that would be the scene that the camera is in. The battle, when I return to Overworld, I'm instantiating the scene that is like the player's stored current scene, which is like where they came from, because I need to remember that. And queue free. I need to look at that more closely. Okay, when I go into... Okay, now it's just called battle. Like it freed itself. And then when I leave... Okay, this node 3D is the scene, but it should be... I would think it would have the name of its own location. It's almost like alternating like which one can occupy the name or something like that. I would think. Because when I go to, I think it might just be called test scene. Yeah, this is where I am, and then that's the player's current scene, which is getting stored. So it should be called test scene when it reloads. Okay, it's like hooking the battle on and then freeing the test scene. So I can see that. And then when I run... Yeah, okay. It's putting this test scene in and then freeing the battle. I don't know why it's launching multiple battles at once. I don't know yet. I'll figure that out. I'll just... For now, I'll work on that UI element I had open. Okay. Well, yeah, I need to divide that into areas. I'll have to like put blank spaces where each of the boxes are. So let's just for now do that, and I'll copy something that size so that I can put it in here. I think I have the scale of it different. Yeah. That should be like half the size actually. But anyway, we'll test it out. I'll see if I can get it to be the right size for the greater menu that it's a part of. All right. Okay, so that's way off. That's like got to be like way up in the corner. Somewhere like that. I'll adjust the width and height. Oh, I wanted to bring basically this up by maybe a couple pixels. This just might be a bit too tall. And maybe just slightly wider. Gotta erase that. Okay, I just kind of eyeballed it, but you can kind of see the green box sitting behind it. I believe that lumberjack box. So I might just have to like widen it, but it's almost right. Might have to do with my run command. So like am I doing something other than just like leaving properly? Let's see. Because I just saw two battle scenes in the remote scene tree. And actually, you get them both, so the lighting of the torches was like amplified. And I just caught that. Yeah, the run button calls the return to overworld function of battle directly. Hmm. Hmm. That's really strange. All right. call it soon. We'll just measure out this first box, and then I'm not going to style everything, but maybe I'll put in the rest of them and figure out where they belong, and then call it a stream. Okay, that should be 1 pixel higher. All right. Oh yeah, I need to reload the game window. Okay. Okay, so the green box, it's a little hard to see, but around the rogue right here, that green box like perfectly fits right there, so that when I go back to A Sprite, what we want to do is measure like to the right to the next box and then down to the next box, and then I'll plop 12 of them in place, and then that can be like my schema for how this UI element fits with everything else. Like I just want to make landmarks and then texture everything essentially. Okay. So I'm gonna guess it's like 3 pixels of space, and then below maybe 5. I don't remember. It's probably a better way to do this, but this is like me fitting UI to the stuff I already have on screen instead of like, I guess, planning and measuring it out beforehand. But like I have to fit the UI around like the 3D objects that I'm seeing, right? So I'm measuring how much pixels I have. Oh, I think I nailed it. Keep tapping down to the next scene. Yeah, so this one, that one, and that one, like these three are correct. So if I go back to A Sprite, and then I can just fill out the rest of them. Two, three, four, 5. Oh yeah, that's okay. 3 rows. There, and then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just take a quick look at those cross sections to see if they line up. But yeah, so this would be where they're actually supposed to fit. And I can measure the UI based on that. So now I know, like, if I want to shade these bars as if they're like 3-dimensional, and then shade this sort of tower thing, or like the border of this might go down here, or I might like work it into the shape of this, but now I've got the shape of it. Okay, let's see in my Godot window. Yeah, I definitely have the off position of this menu like being farther to the right. So I guess it's like sliding in diagonally, and I didn't realize that. But you don't really notice it when you pop it up, but I'm gonna have to change that. Yeah, I don't know, like, oh, let me show the game again. Having, let me go to someone with more skills. Red for this skill menu, and then red for this switch menu, I think works fine. They have totally different shapes. The skill menu, I think I'm going to switch this arrow with some type of like animated indicator around where this arrow is, and then that'll show you which one you have selected. The skills will look really, they'll have different information on them than items, because you have like that little indicator that it's ranged, the element, and then the melee type. Then you have like the MP cost and the time. And then items, I just have like really old buttons here. This is nothing, but it could be very similar to the skills. Maybe for the items, it could be a different color. Although it's not that necessary. I mean, I've got a similar description window as the skills have, but what I could have in the items one is maybe if I have item portraits, they could show up there too. Yeah. Since the skills and the switch menu both are like red, I would like for the items to be consistent with that, although it would be nice to have like some visual difference. I mean, they would just have a name and like a count of how many you have, and then the description. So the menu itself would probably be shorter, like narrower. Um, I'll have to work on that. The item one is really, I just left it by the wayside for now, but I will see what I'll do. I think that color scheme works because like the brown down here is very muted and it's out of your way, and then this is a little bit brighter, but still feels like a sort of stone, sandstone type of texture, and then like red is it draws a bit more attention to which like you pop up a sub menu and it's got a lot of information, you want to draw some attention to it, I suppose. I don't think I'm going to leave the description boxes brown like that. Like they'll have a background, but what color that background is, I don't know yet. But it's coming along. Yeah, it's about 2 o'clock here. I think I'm gonna end stream. I'll put the VOD up, and yeah, see you around.